BB-8. Why am I so awkward? Hi lovelies, my name is Sarah and welcome to the Book Witch's Cauldron. I'd like to welcome you to my channel and my very first video. Instead of doing an intro video first off, I wanted to do something a bit more casual, laid back. So this is going to be my haul for the month. It includes both books that I've bought for myself and books that I've borrowed from my local library. So I'll go ahead and get started with the book that I've already read, and that would be The Raven's Head by Karen Maitland. This is a novel that takes place in the early 1200s in northern France and England, and it is about three main characters who get mixed up in very strange goings-on that involve alchemy, strange raven carvings, creepy lords. It's a very atmospheric, very grim story, and I absolutely loved it. And this was everything I kind of hoped it would be. Never trust your secrets to a raven when you are not its true master. So yeah, The Raven's Head was really good. I'd highly recommend it, and I will review it and go more in depth when I do a wrap up. So yeah, The Raven's Head. The next book is Calibans War by James S.A. Corey. It is the second book in their Expanse series. Just for reference, James S.A. Corey is actually two men who write the books, obviously. So this is the second novel, so I don't really want to talk too much about the plot. It would give a lot away. The first novel is an epic sci-fi mystery kind of corporate thriller. I don't know. It's got a lot going on. I enjoyed it quite a lot. There were some things I wasn't super keen on, but overall I really liked the book and definitely wanted to give the second book another shot, particularly because Sci-Fi is actually doing a show of this series at the moment, which I would like to check out eventually. So yeah, Calibans War. The next book is Boy Snowbird by Helen Oyeyemi. This is a novel surrounding a family, and it's very fairy tale-esque, which is something I love. This author has a collection of short stories coming out in 2016 that I'd really like to read, but I thought I'd give her novel a go. The next book is a collection of stories. It's called Under My Hat, Tales from the Cauldron, and here's a list of contributing authors. The editor is Jonathan Strahan. I definitely picked it up because it was a collection of stories about witches, and Neil Gaiman and Garth Nix are attached to this book. So that's my excuse. The next book is a YA fantasy. It's the first book in a companion series, and it's Finnegan of the Rock by Melinda Marchetta. I've heard a lot of really good things about this series, and I'm particularly fascinated to read a companion series. I like the idea of companion novels continuing a story. The Graceling Fire Bitterblue companion series written by Kristen Cashore is one of my favorite fantasy series, so I heard good things about this one and decided to pick it up. The next book I actually started reading in the States when I still lived in the States at Barnes & Noble one day, and it is A Crown for Cold Silver by Alex Marshall. I just know that it's going to be a series as well. Crimson Empire. The thing that originally intrigued me about this book is it's centered around a middle-aged woman who back in the day was a very famous general. She was a war hero. She has since retired, married. Her husband is the mayor of a small little village, and then the past comes back to haunt her. So this is her story of revenge. I think it's basically a revenge story, and the idea of reading a revenge fantasy story about a middle-aged woman, that's basically all I needed to know. So the next book is actually the one I'm currently reading at the moment, and it's Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I started reading this book a few years back. It was also from the library though, and I moved or something happened and I had to take it back. And I have wanted to finish reading and actually reread the beginning of this book ever since. So the library has all three of them. I only checked out one. But yeah, I started last night. I think I'm about just shy of 100. Yeah, 80 pages in. The writing is just as beautiful as I remember it being. The characters are just as vivid. I'm extremely excited to get through this. The next one is actually another Karen Maitland novel called The Vanishing Witch. And I absolutely love sort of the look of all of Karen Maitland's books, the covers, the sort of design. But yeah, this novel takes place in medieval England. It's another sort of paranormally thriller. It revolves around a small town that begins to go through really hard times and starts looking for someone to blame for the things that are going wrong. So yeah, I'm extremely fascinated by the topic. Actually, this is the last book from the library. It's called A Vision of Fire, and it's by Gillian Anderson. The Queen. As soon as I heard that Gillian Anderson was writing a book, I was like, well, I'm gonna get it. So, saw it at the library. Super jazz. I guess technically Jeff Roven also helped write this book, but okay. So these next 6 books are books that I've bought myself. They're kind of in 2 groups. So the first group I got earlier in the month. I was having a bad day. I was feeling pretty homesick and was wandering around town and wandered into a Waterstones. Sometimes these things happen. And Waterstones is having a buy one get one half on a lot of books. So the fact that I only got 3, it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. So 2 of these books were part of that sale. And the first one was The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I was incredibly excited to see this as part of the sale. I've been wanting to read this book for a few months now. I keep seeing it on people's favorites list from last year. The cover is so pretty. I just love the color scheme, the blues and the purples. So basically, this is a book about a group of people on a spaceship. I think it sounds really lovely. I think everything I've heard about it has made me want to read it more. So, yeah. The other half of the buy one get one half was All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. This book follows Patricia and Lawrence. Patricia is a witch, and Lawrence has invented the 2-second time machine. And I think it follows them as children when they meet and become really good friends, and then we see them later in life, and they've sort of drifted apart. And it's a story about them seeing each other again, but also I think it's about them trying to save the world. Sounds like a good time. The last book that I got at Waterstones was not on sale, but oh well. So it is Mage's Blood by David Hare. It's the first book in the Moontide Quartet. There we go. Caitlin from over at Kitty G has talked about the series quite a bit and has talked about how it's one of those series that she feels is underappreciated. And I kind of have a soft spot for sort of underappreciated books, like books that people are really passionate about and really want other people to read. So when I saw this at the store, I was like, well, you're coming home with me. So here we are. These next 3 books, the last 3, I ordered off of Amazon. The first book that I got is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I've heard such amazing things about this book, and so many people really love it, and yeah, had to pick it up. The next book I have probably picked up and put back in I don't know how many stores, at least a dozen times. And I was like, listen, you're just buy it. You want to read it. You've been thinking about this book for years. So I got Solace by Gail Carriger. It's the first book in the Parasol Protectorate series, which that's all I really need to tell you. So the last book is The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. The premise, every time I've heard someone talk about it, has really intrigued me, and I decided to just go for it. So yeah, that's actually it. That's finally the end of the book haul. I hope to have a more introductory video up soon to let you know sort of what kinds of things I like to read, the things I envision doing with this channel, the kinds of posts you can expect to see, that sort of thing. But in the meantime, go ahead and in the comments, let me know let me know the book you're most excited about that you bought or received or borrowed in January. And I will see you later. Bye!